Conte chance on minute 27, they had 2 further attempts on target in the last hour of the game.
You've got to be putting the ball in the net when you're dominant like that. And I said it starting again, I'll keep saying it. If you're not putting the chances away, the game ebbs and flows. You're not dominant from the first minute to the last minute. The periods where you're dominant, periods where the other team will come into it. At that time, when you're not dominant, you have to be difficult to play against. I suggest this team, the way I see it, that when they're on the front foot, fabulous to watch. You know, but the five-a-sides are absolutely wonderful. When the game goes the other way, there's not enough people can sense that, dig in and say, let's be difficult to play against. We saw it twice now in succession. We saw it at Old Trafford, where they were fabulous in the beginning, and then the longer the game went, it become stretched and they were ragged.
How's it going to...
The confidence, you're chipping away when you're not scoring goals and you sense the game's drifting away from you, the confidence drops, and Frank touched on it where he can't say it because he's a manager. Some people stop wanting the ball, and if that happens, you only need 1 or 2 not to want it, and the whole game plan goes out the window.
Well, there are 2 big issues there that you've highlighted. So first of all, the lack of goals. How is Frank going to address that?
Well, he's addressed it in a way with Mason Mount, obviously, because if you looked at last year, their midfield, it was either Kovacic or Barkley. That was a frustration for the fans. So nobody really added goals. Kante, Jorginho, they're not goal scorers. But already, and Graeme just touched on it there, you've got a player. The manager was the best we've ever seen arriving in the box. And he possesses that same sort of knack, that understanding of when to arrive from late. You know, he could have had 2-3 goals and all of a sudden it's a completely different game. And he will add so much.
You can't rely on that.
You can't. But it's the cards you dealt. I mean, Ashley played with the best, Didier Drogba, and they had Costa after him. And this is no disrespect. The other 2 players, Tammy Abrams, hopefully becomes a good player. But Giroux's not full of goals. He didn't score goals in the World Cup.
He does have a goal scorer. Whether he rates him or not is another matter in Batshuayi. He didn't make the squad today, yet there is room for Kovacic and Barkley on the bench.
Yeah, but that just tells you... I mean, I don't know the answer, but obviously Frank doesn't fancy him. It's as simple as that. If he did, he'd be on the bench and he'd be bringing him on.
He didn't mention Hazard in that group as well. I mean, I said it last week. I'll say it again. I think this is the most difficult job for a Chelsea manager since Roman Abramovich took over the club. I think you go back to Ranieri when he was here. Fabulous group, all the players you played with. And I think, you know, the owner would appear to have lost interest through circumstances maybe not of his own making, but that's a fact, I think. I think also the transfer ban is a major issue. I think obviously losing arguably one of the best players in the world, certainly the best player in English Premier League for the last 5 or 6 years, it's not going to be easy. And he needs time.
It's true.
You can't be judging Frank Lampard on what you're seeing now. This is what he's inherited. And he touched on his interview. This is, you know, I knew we would have, but it's sad for him to hear him say, I knew we'd have moments like this. There's not a lot wrong with them. Just people being slightly different at vital times in the game and scoring more goals.
Rudiger adds a big difference when he comes back. He's their best centre-back at the club.
Callum Hudson-Odoi as well.
Hudson-Odoi, absolutely. You know, they're players that will obviously thicken the squad up. But it's not... Listen, he's not blessed with the greatest squad that Chelsea have ever had. There's not many players that would have got in Ashley's team. There's not too many that would have got in Conte's team, probably. But that's why, and I've said it, it's the word, they've got to be patient. And patience isn't always something they're keen to have at Chelsea.
Do you think it's a given, Ashley, that Chelsea will finish above Leicester this season?
Is it a given? No, because I think Leicester has the potential, like they mentioned before the game, to be in the top 6. And who knows with Chelsea, you know. Again, they've got the players. Everyone probably expects them to be in the top 4, top 6. But the league has changed. The Premier League has changed now. Where would you say Man United is going to be? Who knows? Who knows? So again, as Graeme said, I think the manager needs time. The players need time. And I don't think everyone should panic yet.
It's 2 games. We've played 2 games.
It's crazy.
Some of those boys will not be up to speed for another 3 or 4 games. Everyone gets different. Yeah. Everyone gets fit at different times.
Yeah.
You know, in the start
what's
of the
your
season.
evaluation of Chelsea on the basis of 2 games and where you think they could and couldn't finish?
It's the exact same as it was before I saw them play at Man United. My concern is the type of player they've got in midfield.
And what does that mean, though, Graeme?
Technically, they're very good. I think they do look vulnerable when the game gets stretched. You're still pushing Kante. You're asking him to play in a position that he'll deal with it. I'd imagine he's a cracking lad. But if you're worried about teams breaking on you, you have him as your sitting midfield player. You'll have him stand in front of your back four. You know, we saw Makalele come on the pitch at half-time when I was managing him, when you were playing against him, you get the ball out your feet if a midfield player and you look up trying to hit your striker. Who's the smiling face looking at you between you and your striker? It was him. That's what they need. That's what they need.
I'll try the same question in a different way. Should they have the same ambitions as they've always had under Abramovich?
Yeah, this is a team, I think, since Roman...
Jamie's shaking his head.
Since Roman came here, is it 16 trophies in 16 years? And 14 managers, something like that? That's the pressure of being a Chelsea manager. I think this group, they need a different type of player in midfield for me, and I've needed it, and I thought Higuain would have... When you think they had Morata...
I can't get anyone who just said that.
But you think of where they've been in the last few years. They had the World Cup winner, they've still got World Cup winning team centre-forward. They had the Spanish World Cup centre-forward, the Argentinian sometimes centre-forward. And none of them, in my opinion, are the answer to the problems. That's how difficult it is at the highest level. But I come back to where I used to play. I think the midfield, you could shuffle that. You're a big fan of Jorginho. I get why the previous manager wanted him to play there. He thinks, give the ball to him, he gets started. I think Kante can do that. Why not try Jorginho further up the park? And, like... Who's the chap at Fabregas? You played with him. Look one way and slip someone in. I think he'd be better suited to that, personally. And I think that would stiffen up your midfield, which is obviously a concern, the way the games pan out, both last week and this week in the second half.
I just don't say that. Of course he has to get treated differently, because you've lost your superstar. He's gone. And he was the one player that, how many times have we come and watched at Stamford Bridge, you played with him and he just does a piece of magic, make a goal, score a goal. You've not been able to buy a player. So United in that period have gone and got Harry Maguire, and they've gone and got Wan-Bissaka, spent £130 million on players. Chelsea haven't got that luxury, so of course they have to get treated differently. And if they don't, and if they think that Frank Lampard his team should finish in the top four and win a cup, I'm sorry, you're deluded. It's completely wrong. You can't have that expectation. This manager needs time. He's going to give young players an opportunity.
What would be an achievement, do you think?
If he finished in the top four, that's an incredible achievement with his team. Absolutely.
Top six?
Top six, yes. They've got to finish in the top six, I think, because they've still got good enough players to do that. And I think they've got that know-how and winning mentality to finish above Leicester still. But no, to say they've got to finish in the top four when, United, Liverpool, Tottenham, even Arsenal look a better side this season, it's going to be extremely tough. But patience has got to be the key. And if you haven't got patience here, and it's not a virtue they've used in the past, I'm sorry, then they're going to keep having manager after manager, because this is not the best Chelsea squad that I've seen at all.
Ashley, do you agree with Graeme's point that he did say last week, and we've revisited that today, that it's the hardest Chelsea job really since this owner has been at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, I agree. I think if you said to Frank now, you can keep this team or add players and you can buy who you want, he's going to add a lot of players. So, yes, it is the hardest job. But as we keep going back to, I think whether they've had a conversation, Frank and Roman and, the people behind the scenes in terms of saying, you will have time, try ride through this period, try establish some young players, and then we'll see where we are with the band, and then you can add quality, because I think you've got to give credit to Frank for taking the job, because it's not an easy job. He done such a good job at Derby last season. To take this job is big pressure. I think the pressure you're going to put on yourself. So,
is it fair to say, Ash, that you also need to see, when you've taken this job, you want to see him with his best players on the pitch as well? I think Rudiger adds a lot to that defence as well.
Rudiger, I think Ruben will add to this.
Yep.
I think we're talking about maybe not having enough goal scorers. Maybe he can, give something different. So yes, they're missing players. William has obviously been away. He looked a little bit rusty today.
Cool, didn't he?
Frank needs all these players sharp now, because yes, it's 2 games in, but he's already getting judged. So he's going to have to be kind of motivating these guys in a different way to say, hey, you better hurry up and start to get fit, because I need you.
How foolish it would be to judge them after 2 games